So that leads to them. Obviously, I guess Jay gets the solo album deal priority. So the relationship you developed doing their early stuff leads to you directing um, Dead Presidents and Ain't No Nigga. I mean, for us, I mean, for hip hop culture, those are classic records. You know, even the videos are classic because you got, I mean, Ain't No Nigga, that's Foxy Brown when she's like, what, 16? And
Yeah.
you got Dead Presidents. I mean, just for the hip hop nerd in me, how was it filming that Monopoly scene? You got Biggie, AZ, you got Harv, Tata. It's just like that's a hell of a scene. My whole life, I was like, yo, they're probably all never be in the same room again.
That's
And
true, especially without Biggie. Yeah, that one was interesting. That whole video to me would be one of my favorite videos ever that I ever did. It was actually a tough video to make, but we shot it in 2 days. We shot like the helicopter coming down, which was super expensive. And I remember Damon was super late. And by the time the take that we showed was the last take we could possibly take, because he showed up. We only could rent that helicopter for 1 hour, or maybe it was just a half an hour. But it was so expensive. And basically all it did was go up and go down, up and go down. So he finally showed up. He got in the helicopter. He gets out the helicopter with Jay, gets in the car and drives away. Boom. I think that was $700, $800. And then we shot all the driving stuff. We ended up, actually, no. Yeah, we shot the driving stuff with his Lex. And that was Jay's Lex. Like, Jay was loving that Lexus for sure. The GS, I think it was a GS. And then we shot some performances in front of the World Trade Center, which was my 2 favorite buildings. And I put those World Trade Centers in so many different videos. They're always in the background. And I was a fan of those buildings from the King Kong movie, believe it or not. And then, you know, we just decided to tell a story because Jay was always telling stories with his lyrics. So I was like, well, let's tell a story. Like, always Jay is a hustler, so it's always going to be Jay as a hustler. You don't know what he's hustling, though. That's the thing. We never really showed product. It's just, he's just a hustler. Something's going on, but we're not going to spoon feed it to you. You just got to figure it out. So that's the plot that we used was, you know, Jay and Damon go pick up Big, and they go do some sort of deal, but the cops are following them. And then towards the end, we have the cops taking pictures of them, and then they flip it, and then they're taking pictures of the cops. And we kind of got that whole vibe from that movie Heat. I don't know if you remember that movie Heat.
Yeah, Pacino and De Niro.
So the scene where they have them looking at the cops, and then eventually they flip it, and the bad guys are looking at the cops, looking at them. So that was a little nod to that movie because we're all the fans of that movie. So believe it or not, like a bunch of us, Jay, Tata, me, Beehive, we all went to 23rd Street and watched Heat because everybody was into that sort of gangster shit, that gangster movie shit. But not no crazy, well, good for you, got Goodfellas, so I already know the vibe. So.
Oh, yeah. No, I mean, gangster movies, they're never gonna die. They're gonna hit every generation's good. We're all gonna always love gangster movies.
And that was the perfect movie because you want to root for the bad guys, but you kind of root for the cop too. That's, to me, The Heat is one of my favorite films. I've purchased it 3 times. At first I had the VHS. Actually, no, did I have VHS? I don't know if I did, but I had the DVD, and I just bought the Blu-ray 2 years ago. Just for the extras.
When you're on set, after you do those videos for that album, did you know that a Reasonable Doubt is probably be an album that lives on? As we want to consider one of the '90s era classics. Did you kind of sense that? Like you said, because you already get figured, I'm gonna invest my time in these guys early. So did you kind of sense like he's gonna have something special here, or was it kind of something like, man, I didn't know he was gonna be the Jay-Z that he is now. I just thought he was a decent rapper.
I'd be lying if I said, oh, he's gonna be a billionaire married to Beyonce, but well, Beyonce's younger, so she's just a wee child back then. But no, I believed in him because I thought he was talented, and also he was a very nice person. You know what I mean? He was a nice guy. Like, it was no, oh, you can't talk to him because he's Jay-Z. I respect artists from the beginning of their journey, and keep in mind, I worked with so many artists along my journey before I met Jay-Z. Some of those artists were assholes and arrogant, but they never went anywhere. So here's a guy who seems to be humble, has got his hustle on, is very respectful, understands that I know more than the business than he does, and is willing to learn. I got that on video somewhere. So it's on my website. But yeah, so it's sort of like I'm investing in him. I'm trying to advance my career, and he's the perfect example of someone who is willing to invest in me as well as my skills and help everybody move along by creating great music. So to be honest, what did I think the album's gonna blow? I mean, I would not know that, to be honest with you, because I always thought his songs were hot, and I always thought his style was cool. But everybody was on the bad boy train.
Yeah, you're right, Shiny.
And I wasn't. I was like, I'm Team Rock. You know, I'm trying to stick with these dudes. But Bad Boy was blowing up, or had already blew up. Actually, Bad Boy was hot.
Right, Biggie's the biggest artist in the world. You're right. I had to put that together. Yeah, Biggie's huge.
Yeah, so you had to you didn't have to make a choice. You can still like both of them, but it was only until I saw how much that Jay wanted Biggie to be in the Dead Presidents video that I had to sit back and be like, all right, well, I guess Bad Boy's cool too, because we couldn't shoot that scene until Biggie showed up. And Biggie was late. And he was super late too, which was not cool while you have a crew waiting around. But we could not shoot that scene without him.